Hello, everyone. Welcome again in yet another session on from PyCray. Uh, in this session, we will understand and we will learn more about building a good or a great portfolio, which is very essential in today's scenario for you to kind of get a good role in any organization. Before we start, I hope all of you are doing well, and more importantly, you are enjoying the sessions which we are conducting so far. Every session is designed to prepare you for something you actually face in this industry or you actually face in day-to-day work in any organization in which you are working. Today's session will not just help you in the interviews, but throughout your career. And I just want to start by asking you a simple question, like how many of you believe that learning a programming language is enough to get a job? Maybe the answer which I will hear from most of you is by learning some language, by learning some tools which is very new, right? Maybe learning some of the coding assistant tools which will help you in building some of the great applications which is out there. And many more, like there is like thousands of applications, there are thousands of uh, learning materials which is there available, and we can learn most of them, and then we can say that yeah, it is enough for me to kind of get a job, it is enough for me to kind of create that good portfolio. And one of the essential thing is many students spend most of their time learning some specific language like Python, like Java, like React, like Node.js. They complete online courses, solve coding problems day in and day out. Like they keep on spending their time on some of the available platforms, which is very good for learning the coding, building projects which is out there, and then confidently start applying for jobs by creating some of the portfolios which they can which they understand from various platforms or by various learnings. The question which I asked at the initial was how many of you believe that learning a programming language is enough? The answer may be in many cases uh, isn't isn't the technical capability which we need to kind of keep. We also need to keep the soft skills, which is very essential in today's scenarios. How to present what you have learned, how to present your work, present in a present in a way that which is essential for the pro managers who is responsible for hiring candidates, or for HR team who is responsible for hiring candidates. While they spend some time on your profile, they they see it like a outstanding profile, or something which is different, because we'll talk about it in details in coming slides, like in coming slides later, like what is the exact difference, how do they look at the different portfolios. But by the end of this session, I want you to stop thinking like a student who is completing some assignment, and start thinking like professionals who are solving real world problems. We'll discuss what recruiters actually look for, why most portfolios fail, and small changes that can dramatically increase your chance of getting shortlisted is something which we will understand in today's session. Okay. So it is very essential for you to kind of follow what we are currently talking about in coming slides. Think about it, maybe write those questions, and then I'll take it up in at last. Before I move to anything else, we'll talk about PyCray Technologies, the organization which Mahesh and I founded 3 years back, the organization which is helping customers in building AI powered products, digital products which helps them in kind of taking building revenue for them. So I'll just request you to kind of go to our website and search what we do, what all things which we provide value, how we have impacted some of the good clients which is out there like Easy to Go, Money.ai, Slide Pulse, Creative Studio, Wise Desk, Evoke Here. These are some of the clients with whom we have worked or we are working. Just go through it and then you will understand what we are doing. We are an AI first organization. As of now, we are helping customers in building products which provide value, not only building based upon certain technologies, but helping them bring value to for them for their end customers. Okay. I'll come back to and okay. Before we go to anything else, let me introduce myself. This is Rahul, co-founder of PyCray Technologies. I'm majorly looking at solutioning, the technical solutioning of any product, the go-to-market strategies, the sales side part of things. Studied from IIM Udaipur and Bengal College. Have more than 10 years of experience. Along with me, my co-founder was Mahesh. He's from he has studied from IIM Ahmedabad and IIT Guwahati and has 10 plus of years of 12 plus years of experience in delivering major IT projects. He's from delivery side, very good in delivering good products to the customers. We'll come back to what we wanted to discuss in today's session. Like what is a real profile? How do they see it? How do the HR managers see the profiles day in and day out? Let's start with a simple scenario. Imagine you are a hiring manager, okay? You are sitting in an organization. It is Monday morning and you have just opened your inbox and you have more than like 47 portfolios, links, CVs, and but you have only 2 hours to kind of shortlist maybe 10 candidates who will be interviewed, or maybe 5 candidates who will be interviewed, out of which only one has to get selected. Now think about the math. Barely you have 2 or 3 minutes, not more than that, even lesser, because you have to, after you are selecting 10 profiles, you have to shortlist two or three and schedule after having a discussion with them, which will take 2 or 3 minutes of yours, right? You have to schedule the interview also with them. Think the math. So you click every portfolio, you click every CV, you download it, take 1 second, look at it, and you see that you see that there are many to do applications which is their present application in terms of the portfolio which you have created, maybe on GitHub or maybe on your custom web or maybe on some other link which you have shared in your CV if you have. Otherwise, go through that details which you have provided in your resume or the CV which we can say, and you can see and you will see that there are different applications. Whether it's a web application, Android application, one after the another, they keep on looking at these applications which is present in the CV. So maybe a Netflix clone, maybe a calculator, maybe a weather application, maybe a to-do list, with maybe a e-commerce application and whatnot. Like in today's scenario, everyone is like creating these application utilizing coding assistant tools like Codex, like Cloud, the other like Chat GPTs, anything. They can use anything and create these. So they may have a lot many applications in their profile. So by after going through out of 47, after going through 10 or 12 or applications, the hiring manager is now he's not selecting, he start rejecting every profile because he has to. He 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 or she start feeling that fatigue, right? Like they will just it will just become boring for them at the end of this process because everyone looks identical, every application. We will see that in real scenario in coming slide how it looks for them. Oh, how we write, we think that it is different, but how for them it is same. And when everything looks identical, because somehow or the other in today's scenario, I am talking about in while we are sitting in 2026, everyone has access to chat gpt cloud, and everyone is creating their profile out of it. And when these profiles are created without thinking, everything looks identical, nothing stands out. Since we and I am talking this from a perspective of sometime as a hiring manager also, because in PyCray we have reviewed like thousands of profiles for the roles which we are selecting, and we have seen that it looks exactly identical, nothing stands out. And this is one of the biggest mistakes which freshers make while you are in your college, while you are studying. You all only think about building something, like let's create something, let's do it quickly. And we as a student think this also like an assignment which is there to we need to be completed. We are not thinking holistically that we should be standing out, we should create something which is different. And while we are creating, whether we are understanding it or not, we will talk about it in the further slides. But from the company's perspective, companies aren't evaluating whether you can follow a YouTube tutorial, whether you are evaluating your problem or not. They are there to understand from something in one or two page whether you are able to put the descriptions properly from the profiles of the GitHub links which you have created, whether you have put those details in a very structured format, context, action, and result, which is there, which they can understand what result which you are driving out of your application. So through in today's session, throughout the session, I want you to think like a hiring manager, not like a student. It will help you in evaluating how you can correct the profiles which you are creating. Okay, it is very essential for you to understand that part. Because without understanding the part, like what we are giving it to the hiring manager, we will not be able to solve the real problem. Okay, so let okay, coming to the exact analysis, how it looks for uh, for a for any hiring manager, a general portfolio is is something like this. This is a sample. Just don't go on names. These are some sample dummy names which is there, right? Like John Jacob or dummy name or the first last. These are some dummy names, some dummy places. But go into the details, since we need to keep the PI information unidentified. We have to encrypt it. But yes, so if you look at these are some of the profiles which is taken from the real world scenario. And if you look at, see, both of them looks exactly same for me. I'm not able to find out the difference. Both of them are written via some LLM tool, maybe ChatGPT, maybe cloud, I don't know. But structure, format, projects, everything is looking same, right? Technical details, programming language, frameworks, no difference. For me, it is same. Project experience, like I am writing it in a descriptive format, but I am not able to put it in a way which is driving result, what I have achieved out of it. So if you look at the first profile, the professional summary, proficient and self-motivated, I don't know, a stack of technologies. I don't know in which technologies you are very good. The project experience. I don't have any link as of now to even go through this, right? Some of the projects which you will be working for a client, you will not be able to showcase it, but the understanding should be very clear. We will understand in the portfolio that stands out. Similarly, if you will look at the dummy name profile, The technical details, the project experience, nothing different. I'm writing it like a essay, right? If you look at review, implemented server-side rendering to hide essential APIs calls and increase the performance of web. I don't know what project, how it is different, how it is impacting the end user. So the profiles which stands out very clearly put out the details of the projects, create a story. Okay. So so create the story which links from one point to the another point. Okay. Uh, the f- the first portfolio which you will look at has nothing which is in a story way, right? But if you look at the portfolio which is standing out, it is giving me a story, right? Like build a Tableau dashboard to visualize core business KPIs, what KPIs, like how that KPI is different, what it is driving, like 10 hours per week of manual reporting, it reduced, right? Then what did he do next? Or she do next? Like they aggregated the unstructured data from 20 plus sources. Now I am able to understand that, okay, he's doing something in data side part of this thing, and which is something which is interesting. It is giving me those details, right? The work experience. Similarly, if you will look at the skills which is there, very clearly the technical skills they have written, right, at the very end. Then what is the college projects which they have worked upon? So one page, this profile has covered a lot of details, right? A lot many details. So, so it is very essential to ask one question. Which one would you remember after reviewing 50 plus portfolios? And the answer will be the one which is standing out, this one. A portfolio which you are thinking isn't your proof of thinking. It is like a gallery of project, which is sequential, which is giving some story, which is driving some value for the end users. For you as a candidate, your end user is the manager, right? So so I'll give you a hook here. Every project which you put in your portfolio, in your profile, in your resume should answer three questions, three very important questions. Why why did this project exist? Okay, if I am putting something, so let's take an example. if i am putting if I am putting project name, dashboard development, right? Why I am putting this? Why did this project exist? What was the end goal of this project? Secondly, second question, what decision did I make? Okay, what decision did I make in trying to solve the problem? Okay, and lastly, what impact did it create, right, in terms of solving that problem for the organization or the project which you are kind of creating? What impact it created? How did it solve the problem? How it was different, right? What result it is driving? And if you start thinking like this, if you start asking these questions, it will differentiate you from hundreds of users or hundreds of candidates who is applying for this position. Okay, it will help you differentiate from the different candidates who are there. Okay, hope this is clear. And maybe we'll discuss a lot many frameworks which is out there in details in some another session, or in Forge, which is one of our training plus internship program. We'll talk about it at the later part of this session. But yes, there are a lot many frameworks which is there which we need to understand more in details, and I'll not be able to cover all of them in this session, but definitely I have given you structure thinking, how you can think, and one of the important differentiators, how it is, how for any manager it looks like, right? Okay, let's go and understand every fresher's portfolio why every fresher's portfolio looks the same, why it is like that. Now, while we are understanding this side of the story, also we should understand the other side, like from the student side part of things, like why it is same for them. One of the regions which I have mentioned earlier was utilization of the LLM tools which is out there. Secondly, there are other things which is there, majorly the four regions which I have put in here. First is the tutorial trap. The second is the GitHub green square problem. The third is the tech stack arms race. And fourth is I have learned an X framework, whether I am able to put it or not. So these are the four common reasons why most freshers portfolio fail. The first is the tutorial trap. Understand this like as tutorials are fantastic for concept learning. Hundreds of tutorials are there on Udemy, on Coursera, on YouTube, maybe on your college platform, maybe the books which you are utilizing. There are hundreds of tutorials which is out there, and they are very good for concept learning. And I still recommend like freshers or someone who is in their second year, third year, or fourth year of their engineering, if they are pursuing engineering, or in their second year or third year, if they are studying in technical programs, which is a 3-year program in undergrad, or maybe if they are studying in their MTechs or the post-graduation program, the first years of the post-graduation or second years of the post-graduation, I still recommend even someone who is skilled, who have 2+ years of experience or 1+year of experience working in any organization, to go through tutorials when you are learning something new, when you are learning some new frameworks. But if every project on your portfolio comes directly from a tutorial, it tells employers that someone else made every important decision. Okay, we talked about the decision. What decision? We asked that question, right? Like, what decision did I make? And that was one of the most essential, one of the most important question which I was supposed to ask from myself while I am writing my portfolio, while I am creating my portfolio, while I am creating that project which I am kind of presenting it to the end hiring managers utilizing CVs or resumes. It is very essential to understand like what important decision which I am making. Think it from your perspective. What result which I am driving, how I am differentiating it. Okay. So if I'm going through some tutorials, if I'm learning something, learn the concepts from there and start implementing those concepts via some or the other projects which you are doing. Start understanding it. Start understanding the nuances of the concepts which you have learned. Okay, try to put it in your way. Try to code how you think. Make mistakes. That's what a tutorial will teach you. It will teach you a framework. You have to utilize that framework and create something from your thought process. Okay. Second is the GitHub green square problem. And this we will understand more in details. Many students proudly show hundreds of commits. Now, I don't know how many of you here present in today's session have utilized GitHub or have created your own portfolio on the GitHub, but as a recruiter manager or a hiring manager, when I see GitHub links, I see like, okay, a list of a list of projects which is committed. But if from my perspective, I don't only look at commits. I look at the capability. Okay. Whether you are able to provide that answer to me that, okay, this project is something which is a differentiator for you. It has some uh, different way which you have utilized, some frameworks which is kind of different. It's a differentiator. It is the same for me, right? So think about it. Keep only quality, right, over quantity. Every commit which you are making should be complete, should drive certain value. Okay, don't go over quantity like hundreds of commits. Doesn't matter. Five commits, five important projects, very good. Have all the components which is required to be present there. That will help me to kind of select you. Okay, so that is very important to think like quality things, not the quantity. Hundreds of commits will not help you. Third thing is the tech stack race. Something which I see in most of the resumes, which we have seen earlier also, right? Like React, Angular, Flutter, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, GCP, Azure, Fabric, whatnot, Power BI. We list down so many technologies that instead of I being impressed, or a hiring manager being impressed, or a recruiter being impressed, they often wonder whether the candidate has real depth of understanding these technologies or not. Okay, while they 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 finally kind of get lost in all of these, that what is your forte, which one is the one technology, or the one or two technologies which you understand and you understand in depth. Think about it like a T shape. Okay, you should have understanding of one, two, three, four elements, but second element you have a very good understanding. So it's a T-shaped learning. Okay, if you are learning four technologies, learn it, and one or two technologies you should learn in deep. Like you should be able to create it without utilizing the coding assistant tool also. You should be able to debug if you are facing any problem. Okay, in today's session we are focusing more on the technical elements. We are focusing more from the technical point of view, but this is applicable in non-technical roles also. Okay, in non-technical roles, think about it. The technologies like an applications, right? For a project manager, I have an understanding on Jira, I have an understanding on Redshift, or maybe I have an understanding on some other project management tool, but I am not able to utilize it in day-to-day activity properly. So I should be able to understand each and every component. I should be able to do it properly. So that's do it to a level that I am 80% covered in that application. I have most of the understanding about the end-to-end features of those application, and then I'm utilizing it properly. Okay. So rather than thinking about 15 or 20 different technologies or languages, learn something and create create a mastery in one or two areas which you can speak about. Okay. Basically, the sentences which I have heard from many students or many candidates who are applying for any position is that I have built this project to learn React. And the sentence immediately shifts the focus from you creating any value to you learning rather than you solving any problem. And any recruiter or any HR manager don't hire people to continue learning. Okay, it is very essential to understand this element also. They are not spending for on you. They will never spend on you for you to continue learning. Okay, they will spend on you for you to create value while learning. And this is the differentiator. You will be required to learn new things daily. You will be required to gather more information, more knowledge about the area which is in which you are selected. Maybe front end, maybe back end, maybe data science, maybe data visualization, maybe data engineering, and whatnot in technology roles. They will hire you to create value while you are learning something new in your career. And that is very essential to understand. Rather than you keep on learning new frameworks day in and day out, daily, it will not help anyone. And that is the fourth point which we have to understand, that I'm not I'm not joining any organization just for the sake of learning. I am joining that organization to give value to that organization from day one. Even if you are hired like an intern in any organization. So while I'm explaining this, so Forge I'll tell you, like Forge in Forge, while you complete the training program, while you are hired like an intern, we also look forward for you whether you are bringing that value or not while you are developing some of the product with us. In PyCray Technologies, we have our own product called Review Loop. You can go to the website and you can check. But we will hire you as an intern, a full-time paid intern, and then we will convert you going forward based upon your performance to a full-time employee. We will look at that point whether you are providing that value in the role which you are hired or not. The roles can be the front end role, the back end role, the DevOps, the project manager, the product manager role. But this is an important point to keep in mind, that you are hired to create value for the organization. Okay, I hope this is very clear. These four regions, which makes every profile looks the same, and this is which we need to understand, which we need to incorporate in the portfolios which we are creating to stand out, to be the differentiator. Okay, now we will understand each of this more in details. Okay, let's look at the tutorial trap in more in details. Okay, so when you follow a tutorial, someone else defines the requirement, right? The instructor in that tutorial defines the requirement. Someone else chooses the database. Someone else decides the architecture. Someone else fixes the bugs for you. You simply implement the instructions. They say you, okay, and this is the step, do this step. They say you, okay, these are the workflows, complete this workflow, code this, use these codes in the videos. If you will go through the videos which is available out there on YouTube or any other platform, you will see the same sequence is followed. Okay, code it like this, utilize this framework, bring this. You are just looking at a video and you are just following the instructions which is provided by the instructor in the video, and it is not bad. Okay, it is not incorrect to do that, but in real world it doesn't work like that. Okay, now if you will compare this with a real project which you have decided to do, you will need to understand and you will need to start thinking about the architecture. You will start thinking about the needs, right? You will start thinking about the features. Okay, you will start thinking about the bugs which has occurred. Okay, while you were doing something after looking at a video which is available on the YouTube, you are doing nothing, you're just typing, right? Like, if you will think from that perspective, you are just typing, you're not understanding the framework more in details, you're not improving your skills, you're just typing, and at the end of the session you will have a commit to make, you maybe you have created some login page or something, some feature which you are developing out of that video, or something which you are creating out of that video. You are fixing a bug which the instructor has created, not you. Okay. So to improve the performance, to improve the understanding, it is very essential for you. It is very required for you. Go through the video, understand the framework, understand the nuances, understand what they are trying to solve, and think about a problem. Okay, think about a problem which you can solve utilizing the same framework. And that's what will help you to differentiate while you are utilizing the tutorials to create some value for you, and at the end of the day, some value for the recruiters. Okay. One of the essential element which I wanted to mention here is any HR manager or any recruiter don't care whether your project is a perfect project, whether everything is running fine or not. They care more from the perspective that whether you have understood all the components which you are mentioning in that portfolio, in that profile, whether you are understanding everything clearly or not. They will not ask you a linear question. If you are if you are giving interview for, let's take an example, review product as a front end engineer, I will not ask you a linear question. I will ask you, okay, tell me what bug which you fixed utilizing this framework. And that will help me to understand whether you have reflected upon your learning or not, whether you have understood that framework properly or not. Keep this, note this somewhere. This is how a real world interview looks like. Okay. And I'm talking to the freshers who has joined us today. I'm talking to someone who has not given an interview till now. But for someone who is experienced, you may be you may be definitely conquering to this point. Like, this is what happens in a real world interview, right? Like, you know that thing. Like, they ask you these questions. They care whether you are able to reflect upon your learnings or not, whether you are able to think like a coder, like a problem solver, right? And that is, and logically, right? And these are some of the traits. We will talk about PyCray Forge, the training programs which we are running, and the training come internship programs which we are running, and you will learn more into that if you are joining those programs. We will learn more about this from the real world projects. But this is an essential element for you to create a standout profile. A real world profile, if you will look at, has initial project setups. Okay, has the details about uh, the APIs which you are loading, the web sockets which you are creating, sessions, and the real decision. So some of these real world project elements I have put in here. These are some of the things which I will look, and these are some of the spikes which I say I look forward to. Like, if I go to any profile, I'll just see, okay, what all things which they have put in, and then I'll see to these things, and then I'll understand that, okay, this is a candidate who has understood some of the elements. They have even done some of the mistakes, and they have corrected those mistakes in the code. Okay. And that's how I will understand that you are not only dependent upon some instructions which is provided in some tutorials, but you have followed that concept and then you have implemented it from your understanding. Okay. This is a day in and day out task while you will join any product team, any organization, whether it's our organization, whether any other organization which is out there, like maybe your dream company, maybe some other company. But I want you to be thinking about PyCray or Review Loop because that's from where we come. Next is one of the big. biggest misconception among students is believing that GitHub contributes uh, GitHub contributions and the graph which you can see. This is something which you will see on GitHubs, like the commits which I am making week wise impresses the recruiters. And if you'll ask me honestly, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. And imagine opening someone's GitHub and seeing hundreds of green squares. Okay, which you are currently seeing on your screen. You will think as a candidate that it is impressive, but it isn't. Okay, like so many. I'll just think like, are you really doing this by yourself? Okay, and this is what I say, a green square problem. Like you want to impress everyone by committing so many projects. And then when I open the first repository, and when I see a README which is empty. Okay. When I see there is no deployment which is correct, when I see there is no explanation to the code or the functionality which I am creating or the functions which I am writing, when I see it's just an initial commit, just to kind of fill and make this green more greener, it doesn't help me. Okay. And I'm being very serious. It doesn't help anyone. No recruiters. While we were discussing about this GitHub Green Squares earlier, like how many commits or how many many projects which I should focus, I'll give you a hook here. Importantly, keep not more than 5 to 6, but very good commits, like detailed one. Go into depth. Okay, put as many features as you can, okay, to substantiate the value of the code which you are generating. Write the issues which you have faced. Okay, provide good descriptions about the features which you are writing, the functions which you are writing, the code which you are creating. Okay, that is very important. So lastly, instead of quality, focus. Instead of quantity, okay, instead of quantity, in quotes, focus on quality. Again, I'm just repeating this. It is applicable to all the projects which you are doing as part of your coursework. Okay, as part of your academics. If you are studying in any organization, in any institution, whether you are a IT student, whether you're a computer science student, whether you are focusing on AI, whether you are a electronics student, wanted to pivot to a product development world, wanted to pivot to IT, which we say wanted to pivot to data science or front end or back end or anything, any technical role. If you want to pivot, focus on quality of projects which you are doing. Not more than 5. I'm saying this. 2 or 3, maintain 2 or 3 strong repositories on GitHub. Think about it like your live projects are your portfolios. Okay. In some of the interviews, you will be asked to showcase your portfolio and explain it in details. Okay. It is very important. 2 or 3, very detailed. Everything. Document it properly, document the requirement, document what you are trying to solve, document what you are trying to achieve, what result which you drive, right? Deploy it properly. And the 3 questions which I explained earlier in my earlier slide, think about it. The second one, the decision one, explain your decision properly. So this is the whole and soul of the portfolio which you will create. Explain your decision very properly. And those repositories will create more impact to the recruiters than 20 unfinished projects which you will put on GitHub. Okay. So I hope this is very clear, and I wanted to kind of put a lot of emphasis on this because just doing some activity is not a value which you are creating for anyone, not for yourself also. Okay. Now, important thing is what makes a project stand out. Uh, and I say it a three question test. Okay. Before you write your first line of code, ask yourself three simple questions. Okay. Three simple questions. First, who exactly has this problem? Now we will understand again. I'm just mentioning this again. You will understand more if you will get into the detailed sessions which we conduct in PyCray first. But here I am giving you a structure of thinking, and it is also very detailed. While you are while you're creating something, while you're writing first code, leave aside on the solutioning part, leave the coding side part of the things. First thing, ask yourself who exactly has this problem. Okay. And your answer should not be like everyone. Okay. That is very incorrect to think. You have to be specific. Okay. Like a technical problem which we are solving, or any product problem which we are solving, is very specific. I'll give you a real world problem. Let's take an example of Jepto or Zomato. Okay. Zomato thought about a specific problem which a consumer was facing, was delivering food, right? Delivering food when they require it. That was one of the specific problem which they thought, uh, and then they made such a big application which is solving so many problems. Okay. So while you're writing anything, while you're thinking about any problem, while you're solving anything, be very specific. Okay. M- Maybe you are solving it for a college student if you are building a platform, result platform. Okay. Uh, Maybe a portal which you are building, maybe a website which you are building. Think it from a perspective of a consumer, maybe a retailer, maybe a driver. Think about it specifically for whom you are solving this. Okay. Second important question to ask is, what are they doing today? And that is like, what did they do before your solution existed? Okay. It is essential to understand the workaround, understand the solution which is available today, how it is solving the real pain point for those consumers, those users, those personas. Okay, how they are solving the real pain point for them. This will help you in understand multiple things. I'll be bit quick now because we are like at the end of the session, and we are understanding this. But yes, lastly, the third questions which you want to understand is which you want to ask yourself is how you will measure the success. We have understood this, like the results which we need to drive from the problem which we are solving, and it may be in quality improvement, in process improvement, in saving time, in making fewer mistakes, in making the real world consumers like you and me more happier, right? Like Flipkart, when they started, they were not getting good ratings, but when they created such beautiful platform, they start getting good reviews, right? Like in terms of the overall application. So if you will go on for any while you are downloading any Android application, you will see that it is 4.3 star rated, 5 star rated, 4.5 star rated, and these are the ratings which they get from the happy customers. So we have to think from that perspective. We have to ask those questions like, for whom I am solving this problem, for whom I am creating this solution, or from whom I am creating this application. And And every successful product start by answering these three basic questions. Any organization, any product development team, if you will join, they think like this. And it is the basis of for which an application is created. On which an application is created. It is the pillars, okay? Not by choosing the tech stack. They don't start choosing the tech stack. We talked about it in last session. Maybe you can go to the YouTube channel of ours and see what we discussed in the last session. We discussed in details. So I'll just skip that part. You can go and you can check what we have discussed about the frameworks, how a product is built, about the stages, how a product is built. But yes, it doesn't start with choosing the tech platform, choosing the technology. It starts from how we are solving these problems. Okay. So we discussed about like same project, how it is different. Like if you have project A and project B, uh, if there is no mention about the real world problem, what we are trying to solve, what we are trying to achieve, it is not different. So we have to think from that three question every time when while you are creating any project, while you are doing anything, think about it. It is very important and a very strong tool to create a very good product, to create a very good solution. Okay. We discussed this about what a good project is. It A good project answer those three questions very clearly. They answer the certain technical decisions which are made. So even if you are thinking about, okay, let me think about utilizing a framework, a React framework. So your answer should be very clear why you have utilized that framework. Your answer should be very clear why you have utilized certain method to solve anything. And that tells whether it is a good project which you have done or whether it's a bad project which you have done. Uh, Here we wanted to discuss about how to document your work, which tells a story. Uh, while you are submitting anything to anyone, it should be in a story format. We discussed about it in the portfolio slide which we were seeing, the differentiators, which is standing out. Many students spend weeks building the application and they only spend like few minutes, a few hours in writing the README. Now it is very technical. What is README? I'll not get into that. While we are putting something on GitHub, we kind of create those descriptions, and this is a framework of writing the README. It is very important to kind of keep it in your mind. So starting from a one-line problem statement, what is that problem statement is all about? Who plus what friction, not a app, right? Why is this problem you are trying to solve? How did you find it? Why did you choose it? The most skipped and most revealing section, right? Uh, then the third important thing is the decisions which you have made. Very clearly write that what decisions which you have made, right? In terms of utilizing the tool, in terms of utilizing the frameworks. I have given some examples here, but you may think about it in more details. What problem which you faced? What all things broke while you were creating this application? Write that also. And that will create a segregation of what was done correctly, what was done incorrectly, and then how did you resolve it. And this will create trust for you among the recruiters. Lastly, the last section of README should be the results. What results which you are driving? Very strong framework. You should utilize it while you are creating any project, any any portfolio project which you will be keeping in your resume. This we discussed the decisions, the systematic thinking, thinking from the user side point of view, the customer side point of view, right? Thinking from real decision making. right? This we discussed. We discussed about what broke, like while you are writing any code, while you are creating any application, if you are able to clearly mention what broke, how it broke, what all research which you did, and how did you understand that bug, and how did you took two or three routes in solving them, how did you investigate it, and what did you learn out of it is very important. And this and as I mentioned, right, it will create trust for you in the recruiters, it will create trust for you in the interviewers, and it will help you in getting selected rather than getting rejected. Okay. Next important tool for you is recording your walkthrough. Okay. Create a project. While you think now it is ready for you to showcase it in your portfolio, here is one of the easiest way to stand out is to record. Record a simple 90-second video, simple 90-second video. Okay. Don't put more effort in making it cinematically good, in making it visually correct. Not required. Just open your application, open any recording tool, share a screen, explain the problem, explain the solution, explain the tech tools which you utilize, mention one or two challenges which you faced, right? And that is enough. And let me tell you, while I go through so many profiles, rarely I find this thing. And if it is available, I'll just switch to that because it is in 90 minutes I am able to make that decision whether I should select this. 90 seconds, not minutes. 90 seconds I am able to make that decision whether I'll be able to select this candidate or not. Sometime I even get more, less than 90 seconds to spend on any profile. So what I will do, I'll just go and I'll just see what they have done, and okay, I'm ready with my decision. So the first 90 seconds, so this is where you will stand out. Okay, your profile will land in first 10 to 20, 10 to 20 second in itself. Whether I am, that is from the CV which I create, which we create, or from the portfolio which we create. I will, and from the GitHub repository, since we are spending a lot of time and we are talking about how our repository should look like, or what project which we should be putting in, what all details which we should be putting in. If I understand your problem in first 10 to 20 second, you are in. Otherwise, you are out. It is as simple as binary. Okay. Many students think more project or automatically means stronger portfolio. We discussed this in depth, right? Like it is always quality over quantity. Many students think that whether I should be having a portfolio website or whatever it is, maybe a mobile responsive one, or I should be spending more time in creating that personal brand. Definitely, you should. You should spend more on understanding the problem, how you solve it. It is very important. Spend time on while you are creating any website, while you're creating any portfolio, spend time on looking at some of these core elements, since these are some of the things which create a sense that okay, this may be not correct, or this may be just copied from somewhere, right? While you're creating, if you're creating any website, think about it. If the load speed is correct, if it is responsive, if it has about section, and if the project case studies are correctly mentioned or not. Maybe we will discuss more in details about it in some other session. In coming sessions, I'll take this up. I wanted to have more discussion on these points, but since we are running out of time, we will maybe skip this part, but yeah, please keep it in mind. Okay. Uh, Always think of finishing something. Since we are at the last of what what we need to do, what we need to finish, we always think about creating those two or three important project, finishing it. Think about like you are submitting it to someone as a production grade so that they can utilize it, right? Production grade means it is an application which can be utilized by some other customer, or a function if you are developing, or anything which you are developing. Think it that it is complete. Think it from that perspective. Just don't create, keep it on your GitHub and forget it. Don't do that thing. It is not good and it is not recommended. If you are creating something, it should add value to you, right? Don't just create something and keep it on your portfolio. Keep on visiting it, keep on improving it. Create a habit of revisiting, thinking about different frameworks, thinking about different ways in which you can improve it, optimize it, right? And that is very essential. And this way you will be able to understand how a real world project is also done. A real world product is also built. A real world problem is solved, a bug is solved. Because any product, if you will look at which is there out in market, I'll take real world examples. Let's talk about Zomato. Every day, like now and then, you will see that they have improved some features. So it is a iterative way, right? Similarly, your project or your application which you have developed for your portfolio, or the project which you are doing for your portfolio, think about it as an incremental thing. Keep on improving it, keep on thinking about the other elements while you are also creating something else, while you are also working on something else. Keep on revisiting some of the things which you have done. It is exactly same like while you are studying for your exams, while you're revising your product, you are creating something, you are enhancing it for your end customers. Okay. With this, I'll just mention some of the things which you need to remember at the end of today's session. If you remember this one slide from today's session, let it be this one. If you want to remember only one slide, which we discussed out of like 1920 slides, which we discussed today, 1920 things which we discussed, talked about in today's. This is it. Don't just think about that. I wanted to get placed in some organization. For that, I wanted to create a profile. I wanted to create a project. Starting from this week, first thing I want all of you to do is to revisit your best projects which you have done and rewrite the README. We discussed about the framework of writing the README. Rewrite it for yourself. If you have not done any project, create one project. Okay, create one project. I think someone is speaking at the back. Guys, can you please mute? Create create that one project. Write the README. Okay. Uh, Ask yourself, can someone understand what problem I am solving within the first 20 seconds? If not, improve it. Okay, if you are not able to answer what you are trying to solve, then think about it, improve it. Second important element is to deploy your project on some platform. GitHub is free for everyone. Deploy it over it. Or even if you are keeping it in your local laptop, uh, deploy it in a way that it is structured. Think about from a structured perspective. Okay. Lastly, run the three question test which we discussed in previously. Run that three question test on your project, on your portfolio, and this is it. This will help you to stand out. It will help you to create a value for your help for yourself. and it will help you to put an impression on the recruiters that your profile is different. Okay, with this, we will understand like I have discussed many pointers which we kind of talk about in details in a very structured training come internship program which we run in PyCray. I'll just take some quick 5 minutes of yours. And if you go to www.pycray.com, you will see that we have a Forge program which we run. Like the cohort one is already completing its sixth or seventh week. You can go to this and you can understand like what we are trying to do here, what we are trying to solve. It's basically a 8 week training program. After training, you will, if you are doing good, if you are able to pass the assessment, you'll get an internship and it will be a paid internship. Most of the sessions are conducted by either by me or by Mahesh, and we come from a very good background from IIMs or IITs. And then we have other visiting faculties who will help you in understanding more in details about what is a real world problem or a product look like. One of the essential element of this training come internship is it's not like it's not a simple training or a boot camp in which you will just join and then you will just solve some problem or see something. From day one, you will be put into a team who is solving the real world problem or something, some project or product which we are developing, maybe in review loop, maybe in eg2go. Eg2go is an is one of the products which we have developed for one of our clients. You can go to eg2go website and you can see what we have developed. It's a ride hailing platform. Or maybe in some other products which we are developing, you will be put into that. You will see the real sprints which is going on. You will see the real production bugs from day one in your training in itself. You will be mentored by us. You will be provided the GitHub access, maybe not the real production access, but definitely a code base which you can understand, which you can spend time with. You'll get time to spend with the team who is working on these real world applications. You will get time to understand what is how a bug is solved stage wise, logically, and then you will also understand how the overall product is built and how it is shipped to the end customer. With this, I'll end today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I hope like it will add certain value to you. I'll just stop sharing my screen and thank you everyone for joining in today's session. Uh, you can share if you have any questions to me. You can write back to me, rahul@pycray.com. You can write to my co-founder Mahesh. You can send your queries on info@pycray.com if